Terrible news. Their master was dead. Nails pierced his hands, thorns crowned his head. They were defeated, their hearts full of fear, no one to help them, and danger was near. Terrible news. The darkness had won. Light was extinguished and truth overcome. They did not know that this was God's plan. With Calvary's cross, their salvation began. Good morning. My name's Peter, and I'm a member of the church community in Hyde, part of the Avon Valley Partnership of Churches, located in the northwest corner of the New Forest National Park. We have been watching, listening, praying for weeks now as the struggle to maintain freedom and re-establish peace continues to unfold in Ukraine. Through the amazing outreach of modern technologies, we can really feel ourselves in the moment, right next to these brave people, watching every twist and turn of their struggle, cursing the faceless aggressor for whom the sanctity of life means nothing. In awe of the bravery and stoicism of the Ukrainian people, our hearts bleeding for those engaged in the front line, but bleeding also for the hundreds of thousands of wives, children, mothers and grandmothers who have fled for safety, leaving their men to face the terrible consequences of modern warfare for them. 2,000 years ago, in another distant land, under the harsh thumb of aggressors, Roman aggressors, another story was unfolding. By any gauge, a disaster for those who followed their chosen Saviour, Jesus. How could their Lord be so easily captured, taunted, tormented, scourged, and then crucified? The sun was eclipsed. Darkness fell over the land. There were portents all over the place. Yet for his followers, there could be no doubting that their master was dead. They had stood near the crucifixion field and watched it happen. They had seen his body taken down from that terrible cross. Some followed at a distance and saw him laid in a tomb, and saw the large stone pulled to shut the opening. Everything they had believed in was apparently destroyed, and their confusion and disbelief must have completely flattened their spirit and totally disoriented them. They simply could not credit that the man they had come to know as the Son of God, the man in whom they trusted to save Israel, their talisman and leader, could possibly have fallen under the power of the state. Yet there was no denying that he was dead and buried. How had they managed to continue functioning during the Passover, when time must have passed with agonizing slowness? How had the women, knowing that they needed to return to anoint the body with fragrant ointments, managed to prepare themselves? But they did, and on the third day, timidly but bravely returning to the tomb, the women found the stone rolled away, the tomb empty, and Jesus' body nowhere to be seen or found. Mercifully, this was the moment when God decided to reveal his hand and to confirm the miracle of all miracles. Their Lord was alive. Why do you look for the living among the dead? He is not here. He has risen. Remember how he told you, while he was still with you in Galilee, the Son of Man must be delivered over to the hand of sinners, be crucified, and on the third day rise again. Hardly surprising that they had forgotten this, but then they did remember his words, and they went to tell the others. They didn't believe the women either, but Peter decided to go and see for himself, and even he, having seen the evidence with his own eyes, went away wondering what had happened. They were clearly all still in shock and were now being asked to accept that God had raised his only son from the grave, if it were true, the most astounding event in all creation. As if God needed to provide evidence from an outside source, that same day Jesus joined a couple of people, followers of Jesus, who had been in Jerusalem over Passover and were returning to their homes in Emmaus, a good long walk of about 7 miles. These two men were not part of the core group of Jesus' followers, and it seems almost as if they were selected to be provided with first-hand, fully visible and irrefutable evidence of Jesus' resurrection that would give the others confidence to believe what their eyes had seen was absolutely what was in God's plan. The meeting and events that took place on the road to Emmaus make powerful reading, and in this time when Christians rejoice at Easter and the people of Ukraine fight to preserve their country, their homes, their people, and their future as a sovereign nation, I commend St. Luke's account to you. You can find it in chapter 24, verse 13 to 35. It's for your thought, your prayers, and your journey on your road of faith as it unfolds before you. I started with the first 2 verses of Esther Curtis' poem, News. I'll finish this thought for our day, yours and mine, with the triumphant 3rd verse. Thank you, Esther. Wonderful news. That first Easter day, darkness defeated, the stone rolled away. Jesus arose and conquered the grave, living, victorious, almighty to save.